What's good, YouTube? It's your girl AK, and we are here with a Sunday analysis video. Please excuse like this new setup. I'm trying something new with this setup, make it easier to edit. Video gonna be pretty uncut, pretty raw. Just because I want to make sure I get this out on time for today. All right. So without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and jump into my Sunday analysis. So let's jump into it. All right, cool. So now you can see my screen. So starting off, I kind of want to mention that I am looking at, these are the pairs I'm looking at just for the year 2026. Like, so if I expand these a little bit, SPX500, USDJPY, and gold are going to be the only things I'm trading for 2026. The reason is because I went through a bunch of pairs, a bunch of indices, a bunch of like commodities and cryptos like throughout 2025 to see like what I like the most, and these have been the most consistent. SP500 has been beautiful. Like the market structure is beautiful. It doesn't fake out as much as NASDAQ, which I like. It's a pretty smooth, predictable index, and I like things that are pretty predictable, right? Because we want to make money in the market. So yeah, I have SP500 is gonna be my new main instrument I'm trading. So UJ was my main. 2026, I kind of want to graduate a little bit, right? I kind of want to move a little bit away from the currency pairs. I love UJ, don't get me wrong, but I want something just a little bit more volatile going to 2026 that I think will make me even more profitable, right? So I think SP500 is a good step up to that level, right? UJ, we know that's still solid, right? Gold is something I'm actually looking to only trade on the daily time frame, only because the market structure makes the most sense to me on the daily. Like if you look on the daily, y'all, like this is just, you can clearly see like where's the lower low, where's the higher high. Like you can clearly see where the trend is going, right? And I love just things that are like super, predictable. So gold, I'm only looking to trade on higher time frames. In fact, I'm kind of, and I want y'all to focus on me real quick. I'm only really looking to kind of trade it kind of as like a position trader, right? Like I'm looking up getting gold and just kind of hold it, because if you look at gold has been like bullish for, and I'm gonna hide my drawings for a second. Gold has been bullish for ever. Gold has always been like on an uptrend, like since it's been here, right? Gold will always increase in value. Same thing for the SPX500. Like we're looking at pretty much the U.S. economy, right? And overall, it's only really been just bullish long term, right? When you look at like currency pairs, they're a little bit more choppy. Like you see more drops, right? UJ in general tends to go up more, right? You can see, but like overall, it's a little bit more choppy. So that's why I'm looking to kind of hold just gold and SPS like more like long term. And I think long term, like profitability wise, it's gonna be pretty nice, right? So getting back into that, I'm just gonna jump to my analysis. So as we can see on UJ, obviously our weekly is bullish, right? We are only been making higher highs, higher lows. We have not broken this swing low on the weekly yet. So we have a swing low right here under this wick that has not been broken. As you can see, if you go to the daily, same thing, right? So on the daily, I'm actually put my drawings back on for a second. In fact, let me clear these off real quick. So ignore these drawings for a second, but on the daily, as you can see, like this was the high, right? We made a low. We kind of broke it, but not really. It was more like a liquidity sweep, and then we came up and we broke, and we body candle close above this high, keeping the daily bullish, right? We came down, we failed to break this low, and then we pushed back up, body candle closing above this high as well. So the daily is also bullish. So the weekly is bullish, the daily is bullish. So my overall long term for the SPX500 is bullish, right? If we go down to a 4 hour, we are actually starting to make bearish structure. So right here, we had a small, it's very hard to see, but we had a very pretty hard to see, but we had a very like small lower low that got broken. So if you look here, here was a lower low, price came and we broke through it basically. And as you can see, like the 4-hour has been bearish. So we've only been, the highs have only been getting lower and lower. So here's a 4-hour resistance. This is a 4-hour high. This high didn't break. This high, if I jump to a 1 hour, you can see even clearer, right? On the 1 hour, you can see that this high never broke this high never broke this high, and we're constantly just going lower and lower, right? So temporarily, you can take sales on the 4-hour. I do like to, you know, I like to trade whatever direction the 4 hours is going. So the 4-hour is going opposite. I will trade it with caution on the other direction. So if I was to actually like mark up like all my directions, I would say, and I would put my table out. Y'all know I like to use my table for like higher time frame confirmations. So we already mentioned that the weekly is bullish, right? We mentioned that the daily is bullish, but my 4-hour is currently bearish. So since my 4-hour is bearish, we can take sales with caution. The reason I say with caution is because if you look on the daily, like we said before, on the daily, we are bullish, right? So if I was to actually draw a Fibonacci on the daily, which I don't have drawn right now, but if I was, from the swing low to the swing high, you can see that like right here, we have our 61. We're actually already tapped into that golden zone. So if y'all remember from my Fibonacci video, if you haven't watched my Fibonacci video, y'all should check it out. It helps y'all kind of understand what I'm talking about. I'll link it down right here. But yeah, so we already tapped into this golden zone, right? On this daily Fibonacci. So right here, you can see this is our golden zone, the 50 and the 61. And you see we had a major reaction. We already are starting to like bounce back. So there's a chance that this may not go any lower, right? So I'm being cautious of this overall zone right here. So really this whole area, I'm looking to see like if price is gonna stay above this area. And this is really a daily level area for me. Yeah, we're also approaching the last place where we broke structure. So right here, price broke structure here. You probably see it more clearly like on a 4-hour, right? There was a break of structure right here that we're approaching and that we're retesting. So you can actually, if you want to, probably drag this zone down a little bit. Probably drag it down to like this, where structure was broken. So this whole area is like risky to keep selling. You see what I'm saying? So you wanna, if you're gonna sell with caution. Know that there is a big like resistance zone right here. I'm actually gonna delete this fib because I don't really care too much for it right now. In fact, I'll just keep the targets. I'll keep my Fibonacci target. So I'll keep my 0 and my 27 and my 61 for long-term buying. But yeah, still bullish overall on here. So really what I'm looking for, I'm looking to see if on the 4-hour or the 1 hour, if we're gonna break one of our resistance levels. So if price was to come and basically break above this level, give us the retest and show us that it doesn't, this is important, it has to show us that price does not want to get lower, because sometimes price can just like fake you out. It can liquidate you, it can make you think you're going up, right? But then it just heads back down, and that's completely valid too, because we still broke structure on the downside, right? We still made a lower low. So this is just liquidity sweep. So this doesn't really mean much if we still clear this low. So that's why it's important to wait for the retest. The retest stops you from getting faked out, right? So we actually want to wait to see if price wants to break above these levels, right? And then it's probably going to retest one of these resistance levels, probably the most recent one. So here's the resistance level, and then we're looking to long-term take all of this out, right? We're looking to hit all of these targets. So like I said on the daily, we had the fib right here. Daily liquidity is sitting here, right? This is our fib, this is our 0 level, right? So price is going to look to make a new high. So it's going to take out that, right? And remember what I said, when you're in an uptrend, price will not just stop at liquidity, right? It's going to want to get a little bit more, right? And that's why we have, I didn't mean to do that, but that's why we have these extension levels right here. So I'm actually looking to target not only this 0 level, but I'm also looking to target this 27 extension and potentially higher. Because like I said, like overall, if you look at SPX500, it just goes up. So you can really hold this indice for a really, really long time. But yeah, that's my bias on SPX. If it doesn't break above this 1 hour resistance level and it actually respects, like let's say it comes up and it's showing that it can't go no higher, and then on like the lower time frame, let's say a 15-minute time frame, you start seeing lower highs being formed and it's getting lower and lower. At that point, I would take sales. I probably wouldn't target no lower than this level, or if you really, you know, if you really want to catch a little bit more, no lower than here, like no lower than this zone, because by this point you're kind of risking. This is a very like high probability reversal zone, so I personally would stay away from sales right now, and I would just wait to see if price wants to break this resistance, but it's completely up to you. But that's my bias on SPX. Let's jump to USDJPY for a second. So I'm actually currently holding a buy position on UJ. Currently I'm looking to kind of see what it wants to do. I'm already like, it's already a risk-free trade for me, where I'm already moving my stop loss and profit. The reason why is because so right here I saw that price. Let's look at the overall, right? So overall on the weekly, we are still, no, I'll hide my drawings for a second. We are still technically bullish on the weekly, right? Right here, higher high, higher low, higher high. Try to make a low, never broke the low, right? Starting to push back up. That's why like overall weekly bias is still technically bullish. We are at these really high like weekly resistance levels, so that's something to watch out for. But it looks like we may break above it. That's what it looks like. So I'm just still being cautious, but just, you know, I'm just following what market structure is giving me, and market structure is telling me that it's still bullish until now. So I'm gonna still be bullish on UJ. Same thing for the daily. So daily looks a little wonky, but you can still clearly see that here. We made a high, made a low. We could not take out this low here. We came up, kind of failed to take a low, and we actually kind of liquidated right here. But price didn't like fully come down. Price actually came back above, and we broke this swing high. We body candy closed, so this candle closed above this candle, making this a newer high. So since this is still a higher high overall long term on the daily, we are still bullish, right? Came down, tried to make a low, failed to make a low, and we're pushing back up. Now whether or not price can make it back up here, that's up to the market, but I just look at current market structure and I just look at what market structure is doing. I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just trading what it gives me, right? So that's why I am currently in buys for UJ, right? So once price once we created this high on the 4 hour, right, I saw that we could not break this low here, and then we were starting to come back above this zone. That's where I got in. That was my entry, right? I looked to see where price is breaking back above that zone. So like I said, and I show it all the time, like if we are on the uptrend and price is breaking up, and then we come down, and then we break that high, and we're kind of looking to come back down, right? There is a zone right here that has to, you know, be respected. So price can, you know, it can retest this level, right? And it can come down a little bit, it can liquidate a little bit, that's fine, right? But we want to wait until price actually comes back above that. Oh, my camera. Okay, my camera stopped recording, but I'm just gonna keep going without a camera for right now. Because I just want to get this analysis out. So apologies for the faceless video. But like I was saying, we want price to basically come back above this level. Reason being is because we want to be on the side with the buyers, right? So above this level, we have buyers sitting above this level, right? And below this level, we have sellers looking to take it down, right? So notice how like when price is like below it, we sold right here, right? Price has the same potential to keep selling as long as we're below this level. But if price breaks back above this level, that tells me that the sellers are no longer present in the market and the buyers are taking over and we're ready to make a new high. That's what that tells me. So that's why right here in this example, I waited for price to start breaking back above this level, if that makes sense. So I'm currently just holding these buys right now. I'm currently looking to see if we're gonna break this 1 hour resistance. If I jump to a 1 hour, you can see that we have a level right here. There are sellers we're same thing. There are sellers sitting below this level, right? We're looking to see if buyers can break above this level. So if you do want to look to get into UJ like for buys, I would wait to see if price first wants to break above this level. And I'm actually gonna hide this real quick so y'all can see this a little bit better. I want to see if price can actually break back above this 1 hour resistance level. If price can break above and then retest it, the retest is important. The retest shows us that price does not want to go lower. If we can retest it and not go lower and then start to correct back up, that's when you can look to kind of get in, and you can target liquidity. So we have daily liquidity sitting. So I drew this field tool in the daily. As you can see, here's my swing low, here's my swing high. I just have my targets on right now. But right here we have liquidity right here. We have the 27 and we have the 61 as well. So you can target any of these levels. You can even hold it all the way to this next psychological level. Personally, that's where my target is. So if I put my target back on, I have it going all the way to this next psychological level. That's how long I want to hold it personally. So but yeah, that's overall my bias on UJ. I'm bullish on UJ like overall. Everything is saying bullish right now. Like my 4 hour has just shifted to bullish, right? So this let me hide this again. So this actual move right here where we broke, so there was a high right here. So the fact when we broke this high showed that we couldn't go lower and made a new high, that made my 4 hour bullish. So if I was to actually add on my high time frame confirmation chart on here, then it would look like this. Basically all 3 time frames would show as bullish, giving me like a high probability that it's going to go up more. So that's why I'm overall bullish on UJ. So just looking to kind of hold this position. And like I said, this position is already risk-free, right? Because the reason why this position is risk-free is because I got into this position like on the move back up, right? This 4 hour, if you notice right here, it was the 4 hour high. We actually broke structure. So we closed above this high. We broke structure. We came down to retest. We couldn't break lower than this low, and we made a new high. So right here, we had this high right here, and it was a break of, oops, it was another break of structure. We closed, body candle closed this candle above this candle, right? So we were making a newer high. So because we made a new high and this is my new low, I was able to safely move my stop loss into profit. So right here is my new stop loss. So I'm actually in profit right now. So worst case scenario, I'm still gonna make money from this trade if it reverses, right? The reason I trail my stop is because when you are in the uptrend, right? Like if you are making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? The moment price breaks this, right? And then it shows that it cannot, like, doesn't want to go higher, the trend has changed, right? So when you see price start to break structure like that, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fail to also make a new high if it's not a liquidity sweep, and it's going to continue down. So that's why I trail my stop. So every time we make a new low, I move my stop loss, and we make a higher low, I move it up with profit. So I'm locking in profit as I go up. And the moment we close below, okay, you know, we didn't hit full T, but worst case scenario, I still made money because my stop loss is now in profit, if that makes sense, right? So that is what's happening right here. I'm just trailing my stop on the 4 hour. And we're just gonna kind of go from there. For gold, like I said, gold, I'm looking more on the long-term basis. So if I hide my drawings one more time, on the weekly, we are bullish on the weekly. We did have a really big bearish candle, so I'm being mindful of that because we did just engulf this entire candle. So I'm being mindful of this, but technically we are still bullish on the weekly until we take out this weekly low, right? Daily, this is kind of like subjective. This is kind of hard to call this a low, this one little candle. So I'm actually not counting this as a low because it's just like one little doji candle. It doesn't really, it's not very significant as to like this level right here. So I actually drew my fib right here as my low, and basically what I'm saying is that since price has not broken this low yet, then to me on the daily we're also still bullish. So still bullish on the weekly, still bullish on the daily, right? If I was to go to a 4 hour, you can see that on the 4 hour right here, we had this huge drop. So we switched the bears, right? Huge drop. We came up, right? Made a lower high, came down. Price came up. We tried to break this lower high, but we could not, and we started pushing back down. So we're kind of actually in a no trade zone right now. The reason this is a no trade zone is because price made a low, but then at this point we failed to make a high or a low. So we're kind of like consolidating in between this point and this point. So right here, as you can see, we have this 4 hour resistance level right here, and we have this 4 hour support right here, and we're failing to break either or. So if you really wanted to, you could draw like a consolidation box from here to here and kind of just wait to see what price wants to do. Now, my weekly is bullish, right? My daily is bullish. The moment my 4 hour switches back to bullish, so the moment price basically breaks above this 4 hour resistance, and it gives me the retest, because it can look really sweet. It has to show me that it doesn't want to go lower, gives me that lower high and pushes back up. That is where I'm looking to get in long term for gold, right? So I'm looking to see if price wants to break this 4 hour resistance. So I actually have alerts on this level to see when price wants to start breaking back up, right? So that's what I'm watching for gold. I'm not looking to sell at all, because like I said, I only am looking to do long term position holding on gold. And as you can see, long term we're bullish. So on gold, I'm only really looking to buy on gold. So I'm just waiting for price to break back above this level right here. It would also be the same as breaking above this psychological level, 4,400. So that's really where I'm looking to see price come back. I want to see price come and break above, right? Price could come a little bit lower and retest this broken structure. That's probably what it's going to do. So if I put my drawings back on, this is my daily fib right here. We are already tapped into the golden zone. There's a chance price could want to, you know, retest this level, grab some more liquidity before going back up. So I'm just sitting on my hands waiting to see when that 4 hour structure is going to be broken, right? And that's really my signal to go bullish. Okay, y'all, that was my weekly analysis. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm only looking to trade these 3 pairs for 2026, SPX500, UJ, and gold long term, right? The reason I'm just narrowing it down to these 3 is because they're very consistent. They're very predictable. They don't fake out as much. Well, surprise. Okay, gold does fake out on the lower time frames, but on the overall daily, weekly, it does not. It's very smooth. It's very predictable, and I like that. So that is why I'm looking to trade these pairs for 2026. I recommend that you find your 2 or 3 pairs and just kind of stick with it for the year. You'll be surprised of how much more you'll make with just sticking with 1, 2, or maybe 3 pairs and leaving the rest alone. Like once you get the chance to really study it, know like what time it moves, and you know just how once you understand like its particular patterns, it's going to be so easy and so predictable to trade, right? So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the analysis video. I'm going to try to get this up pretty soon. Again, very uncut, very raw, just so I can get it out really fast. I'm going to experiment with live streaming maybe in the future, but for right now, I'm just going to post this video. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Drop some comments if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them. And again, thank you for all the support. Yeah, love y'all. Y'all have a great, amazing week. Great 2026 is a new year. Oh my gosh. Happy New Year's, y'all. Bye.